Okay, so we're going to talk about why Mr. Kyle Kulinski here is ridiculous. I mean, we all know why, really, for many, many reasons. But today we're going to talk about why he's really, really ridiculous, okay? So we're going to go ahead and push play. Guys, I said I'm still not sure how to work electronics yet. So, work with me here, okay?
During whether or not to do this segment, part of my
You should have trusted your gut, Kyle, and not did this segment. But I digress.
mind went, I don't know, man, it's kind of a cheap segment, right? It's kind of a cheap segment to talk about this. But the other part of my mind was like, no, you fucking idiot. Don't let the MAGA era take away all the standards that should apply to everybody, right? So don't like grade Trump on a curve, And that's something like Ben Shapiro literally admitted that he does that. And so on the one,
okay, we don't really like Ben Shapiro either, but
man, I was like, this is sort of a cheap segment. But on the other hand, this is the part of my brain that ended up winning the argument. It was like, hold on, if this was anybody else who said the same shit and then did what he did, of course we would hammer them over it. So here's Donald Trump when he was running for president. Look how many times he said, the war in Ukraine, I'd get that wrapped up immediately. I'd get that wrapped up in a day. It would be nothing. It'd be over so quickly, it'd make your head spin. Look how many times he said it. And then, of course, we'll get to the reality in a second. Here we go.
I'm going to pause it there because I hope Crystal got a prenup. I really, really do. Kyle, she may have thought that shit was cute before, but it's getting weird. Your like obsession with impersonations that are not even good impersonations, and yeah. Anyway, we've all been kind of paying attention to the body language lately, and not so good. Here's what I mean. Okay, we ladies, we all know somebody that would go to prison over good dick, right? I wouldn't go to prison for Kyle Kulinski. Would you, ladies? Huh? Would you take charges for him? No. Okay.
End the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
How would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well.
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost. And there'll be no more bombing of Ukraine. There'll be no more bombing of Russia. And everybody will be happy.
It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president. And you have to get them both in a room. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately.
That to get us out, I can do it in 24 hours. I know both players, and I can do that in 24 hours. But you can only do it from the office of the president. You need that seat. You need what tail in that seat. And I would have that done in 24 hours. It wouldn't even be tough. I know what to say to each of them, and there's no way they would reject it.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I would have a deal done in 24 hours from the time we started. And I would tell Zelensky something, and I would tell Putin something, and I'd get him into a room, and I'd tell him again and again. I would have a deal done very quickly.
So when Trump went on Rogan said, like, how would you get the war to stop in 24 hours? And Trump goes, I tell him, Vladimir, you better stop it. I'm not kidding. It was one of the funniest moments on that podcast because the whole time, Rogan's giving him a hot stone massage and like giggling like a schoolgirl.
Everybody else kind of hope that they forget that they have a mutual friend and said mutual friend has like a wedding or something and they both get invited, Rogan and Kulinski, because Kulinski would never say any of the shit to Rogan's face. It blows my mind that he talks all the shit and tries to start a war. And God bless Rogan, I haven't seen him he seems to be the adult and just kind of like ignores Kyle like the child that he is. I'm not that good. Good for you, Rogan, for being that much of an adult. I'm not. So I appreciate it.
Well, drooling. But in that one, he's like, wait, how would you get the word done? I say, Vladimir, you better stop it. All right, I got one more for you. If that wasn't enough for you, how about this one during the debate? This one is my
How about
favorite,
this one?
Right?
And I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended
If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Before I'll get it done in 24 hours from when I'm elected. This one was when I'm president-elect, I'll get it done. No, the thing you got done is president-elect.
Okay. Granted, he didn't get it done in 24 hours. He didn't get it done in, what are we? We're 4 days in. We're 4 days in, Kyle. How dare he not have the ceasefire in Ukraine and Russia? How dare he? However, the person that you fucking pushed millions of people to vote for was Kamala, who was just like, oh, you didn't play her part on the debate stage, did you? No. You didn't say how she said that she's going to keep arming Ukraine with our fucking money. You didn't for a second say, yeah, no, they have a nuclear power. They're a nuclear power, and we don't want to start a war with a nuclear power who we keep telling y'all that Putin's a madman and we shouldn't, keep poking the bear and we shouldn't keep provoking him. You all tell us that Putin's a madman. He has nuclear powers, but you don't say, hey, he's a madman with nuclear powers, and maybe we should stop fucking with him. Your candidate didn't even bring that up, okay?
Is a fake ceasefire deal with Netanyahu, where in turn you gave them
not a fake ceasefire. Also, Trump didn't promise anybody anything with Gaza and Israel. He played that very vaguely, okay? Again, your candidate, who you pushed, Kamala Harris, was all about, hey, let's just keep funding Israel. Let's allow the genocide to continue. That was your guy, not mine, okay?
1,000-pound bombs to massacre civilians with, and you let them steal the West Bank, and you said
that's all projection. None of that has actually happened yet that I know of, okay? But I do know that Ukraine and Russia are in talks now. It took them 4 days, not 24 hours. Ho, the sin.
And hey, just get the hostages back, and then you can go back to bombing babies. That's what you got in your president-elect session. A fake ceasefire deal which betrayed Palestinians immediately. That's what you got. What'd you get?
That betrayed Palestinians immediately. When I go on Twitter, I see nothing but Palestinians celebrating and loving life right now. I see them reconnecting with loved ones. I see them celebrating. That's what I see. I don't see Kamala celebrating. I see nothing like that. I don't see the Democrats celebrating. Yeah, not one of you. Not one Democrat have I seen yet. If I'm wrong, I'm sure there's somebody out there and I just haven't seen it. I've not seen one on X, on YouTube, on Twitter, nothing saying, good job with the ceasefire, Trump. Good job. Not one.
Vis-a-vis Ukraine and Russia? That's what you got. Look, again, if this was any other politician, like, why is it things stick to other politicians? Somebody says something, then they say the opposite. And, oh, bro, look, he flip-flopped, he's a hypocrite, he contradicted himself, boo! Everybody does it, we all do it, we all talk about it, right? But
whatever, I'm not even going to continue with his nonsense, but here's what I'm going to say. The reason I make these videos is because I am still very passionate about Gaza. My dogs apparently want to say hi. Say hi, dogs. All right, hush now. Hush. Anyway, yeah, so I am still very passionate about Gaza. I am passionate about no war whatsoever, and Trump's the guy that's apparently doing that. However, we have to stay strong. We have to stay vigilant. We have to tweet at Trump directly, whether it be at POTUS. It could be at POTUS. It could be at Real Donald Trump. You could Truth Social, whether it's MAGA for Palestine, MAGA for Gaza, MAGA for end war. If you hate Donald Trump, but you still don't want war, just go on there and flatter him and say, thank you for bringing peace. Thank you for bringing peace. Thank you for doing what nobody else could. Do something. Say something nice to him. If I had the means, I would send hats and T-shirts to Palestinians with MAGA on them, okay? That's what we got to do, guys, if you really, really mean it. And this is what's pissing me off about Kyle and Crystal, okay? What's pissing me off, honestly, is that they're going on this tirade on like the Majority Report and Vanguard and all that shit. They're going on all these places talking about how they're just going to be assholes and they're going to be the resistance and they're going to fight back against MAGA. How about you work with us? We both want the same things. We both want to end a genocide. Why don't you make friends with some MAGA folks who don't want war? Create an alliance with Dave Smith. You know what I mean? So, because Dave Smith actually knows members of Trump's family and actually has some inroads. Make friends with Joe Rogan again. Say you're sorry. Can you call Trump and ask him, can you please maybe, we have a coalition building. We would like to end this war. But you don't, because you don't care about Palestinians, Kyle. You don't care about Palestinians, Crystal, because it's all about your TDS. Okay? If Trump had lost, it would have sucked. I would have hated it. But if Trump had lost and Kamala was in and she actually, brought upon a ceasefire and, it's got Zelensky and Putin talking to each other, I'd be singing praises about her from the rooftops. But she didn't even campaign on either of those things. Trump didn't campaign on ending the Gaza war, but he got the ceasefire done, didn't he? And you want to bitch and complain that it's not good enough for you? Why don't you go online and look at all the Palestinians that are saying thank you? We got a ceasefire. We're happy. But it's not about that because, again, you don't care. You don't care. But my whole thing is I care. I want the wars to end. I want people to live prosperously in the United States. And I don't think that's much to ask, And another thing, you lefties, you're so like, oh, climate change. What do you think happens if there's a nuclear exchange? That's the end of the climate period. That's something you're so worried about. Well, then worry about it. Act like you worry about it. You were willing to vote Kamala Harris, who is willing to go to a nuclear war. So you're full of shit. Nobody believes you anymore. You so-called lefties, you're full of it. Okay. So I don't know. Why don't you form an actual alliance with actual populism? Try to do it like that. Anyway, my message is MAGA for Palestine, MAGA for peace. Even if you say, hey, Trump, I'm Democrat, but I really, I'm for peace, whatever you got to do. Oh, and they're trying to take out Steve Witkoff, like the neocons are trying, Dems and Republicans alike, they're a uniparty. We know that they're trying to take out Steve Witkoff and get him out of the way. You got people like Nikki Haley talking about, oh, no peace with Hamas and blah, blah, blah. Steve Witkoff is willing to go over there and talk to Hamas. That's who and what we need right now. So everybody, please, 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 you do nothing else today. Go ahead on X or Truth Social and say, tag POTUS, tag JD Vance, and tag Steve Witkoff and say, we want Steve Witkoff. We want negotiations made. Okay? That's all we got to do, guys. It's that easy. That's the difference between Kamala and Trump. Is Trump actually kind of cares what we say. Okay? He's no God. He's no demigod. He's no, he's not on a pedestal, but at least he gives us something that we can work with. You all just want to bitch and complain. You can bitch and complain or you can do something. That's the way I look at it. So, all right, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And thanks for watching, American Woman. Okay, bye.